What's up? Good morning. How are you? How you doing? Been good? Off to work. Off to make money. My life is so boring. Is your life super boring? And, you know, I'm about to turn 39, and I used to think a lot about the time between turning 25, which I really remember, and now. And I feel like time just zoomed by. Like it feels like yesterday. And some of that might just be nostalgia or age. But we also had COVID. I don't know what the hell happened in 2019, 2020, but there was like some sort of time warp. Things flew by, and a couple years prior to that, at some point I think I kind of sold myself in order to have an adult life. I kind of remember that right around 2016 was when I first started picking up programming, computer programming, because I wanted to get married. I wanted to marry Tiara, and I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be able to afford a house. So at the time, it felt like a really good trade. Time for money. And I thought, yes, this is something I can get behind. It's cool. I love programming. It's so much fun. Building websites, building programs, you know. And I got a job working on a big, pretty decent sized company's website. And then after that, I lied on my resume and said I had more experience than I did in order to get a job at a software place. Worked there for a long time. And then I got let go because I just stopped giving a shit. Because it I don't know what happened. It just started to feel like it didn't matter. Like none of it matters. Like, what are we doing this for? Right? What am I doing all this for? So I can rent my house from the government. We don't own it. Even if you buy the house outright, if you stop paying your property taxes, the house is gone. Right? So I can rent my energy from basically a monopoly. You know? Heat. You gotta buy oil. Food. Groceries. You basically rent those from the grocery store. Yes, I get it. It's not a subscription. Might as well be. Lots of these things started to kind of crack in my brain. That was back in probably 2019, and then COVID happened. Sorry, COVID happened before I got let go, fired. But that's really when it started to happen. I started to think about these things. Right around the time I started to really read the Bible, and it started to open my mind and my heart, and you just start spotting things. This is before I really fully believed in God and accepted Jesus Christ. And it just started to make you realize how fake this this place is, right? So fast forward many years later, 3 children later, and I feel a lot the same, but I cringe when I hear people online talking about escaping the matrix, or oh, the system. You have to escape from the system. Well, if you think about it, you can't. Like, the system is not. It's not like it was created 100 years ago. Not even 200 years ago. The system was created. The biggest pieces of the system that you feel, I think, are agriculture. And that your government, or many governments, I suppose, your governments have a monopoly on violence. So those two things, where it's like control of food, which, yes, you could grow your own food in your garden, but not really difficult to achieve for people with not much land, right? But all of these things require permission from those who have a monopoly on violence. They could decide tomorrow that, hey, you can't grow that many peppers this year in your garden. We got in trouble at one year for growing too much corn. It was like maybe 6 stalks of corn, but we were too close to another cornfield, and for some reason that was a no-go. Cool. Anyway. But yeah, my intention this year and the years going forward are try to deleverage myself as much as I can from this system. You can't fully escape it, right? It's just like Neo in the Matrix. This is why the first Matrix was so great, because it showed you that Neo was able to get out of the Matrix. He was even able to, when he entered, he finally got able to control, not be able to be harmed by the Matrix, right? He had power over parts of it, you know what I mean? He was a force to be reckoned with when he was inside of it, right? The agents of the Matrix could not control him. But he couldn't destroy the Matrix. Even at the end, he hasn't destroyed the Matrix. This is why I think the sequels were kind of But to be able to have that freedom to enter and exit this system, that's the goal. It's not to destroy the system. The system can't be destroyed. You're not going to destroy agriculture. If you were to destroy the system, you would kill tons of people who are dependent on that system, right? You think people are going to be able to like make their own food? Like if tomorrow there was no grocery stores, no big food companies, be a problem. A lot of people would have trouble. So the goal is not to destroy the system. The goal is to deleverage yourself from the system as much as you can. Get rid of your super high interest debts. Stop taking on debt. Stop allowing yourself to be used. Stop trading your time for money. Stop trading your health for money. And start to take your neighbor's hand, maybe. Try to pull him and her out of being over leveraged as well by this system. And then maybe that's the real freedom. Maybe that's the real market, right? I don't know. These are things I've been thinking about recently, but anyway, off to work. Off to do some work. Off to go trade my time for money. But I think I'll fix that soon. Talking to my brother. He's working 50 hours. If it takes you 50 hours to do your job, there's probably a processes issue with that job. Like, they need to hire another person. If you're working around the clock and it's 50 hours, right? Something's wrong. I don't know. Alright, today's bullshit talk is brought to you by pistachio vanilla coffee. Yep. Guys, I swear eventually I'm going to make different kind of videos as opposed to me just talking to you on the way to my drive to work. I know you're probably interested. You're probably interested. No one watches these. I'm interested in documenting my health journey. I'm trying to get jacked this year. No, within a year. Really get my health together. Get my money together. I just sold my some of my shares that I had with Snapchat. I bought $1,000 of shares in Snap when it was super low earlier last month. It went up. I made like $265 off of that 1,000, but I held hoping that it would go higher, and it just kind of got choppy and didn't do anything. I ended up selling it yesterday, letting it all go for plus 12% basically, which is still great, but yeah. But yeah, paid down a bunch of my debts, even the debts that I begrudgingly didn't want to pay. Gotta have a credit score, right? That is crazy, right? I'll leave you with this. I think it's hilarious that our government agencies, or those backed by our government agencies, have the audacity to give us individuals, citizens, a credit score, while our government is multi-trillion dollars in debt. To what? Anyway, off to work. Talk to you tomorrow, I guess.